Well, welcome to Essentials today. I'm so excited for this week's episode. It's gonna be so much fun. And forgive me for it's been a couple weeks since we had last had our episode, so I'll explain a little bit later, probably in another episode, but we'll be doing things a little bit differently. But today we have an amazing guest speaker. Her name is Hailey Ashton, and she lives in Arizona and is the oldest of how many siblings again?
5.
Five. Oh my goodness. And she's the best. And she is getting her bachelor's in elementary education right now. And she loves to write and use her music to inspire and help others. And she shares her music often and hopes that it's relatable to listeners to help them feel less alone in their journey. And I love her family. I had the opportunity to go to Arizona for 18 months for a church mission a couple years ago, and this family has been dear to my heart. And the reason we're having her on as an amazing guest on this episode is I came upon a post she had sent about her journey over a struggle, an addiction that she had. And I want her to share her story with you guys because she's just truly an incredible an example of endurance and staying strong. And she's been clean for a little more than a year, if I'm correct.
Yep.
Oh my
Yep.
goodness. So yes, I would love to hear where your journey began and what you did. And I will continue to ask a little bit along the way, but I'm just so excited to have you here on the show today.
Perfect. Yeah, thanks so much for having me. Do you want me to just jump right into it?
Yeah, absolutely. Unless you
Okay.
want to share anything about you that the audience would like to know about or need to know
No,
about you.
I'll just jump in. Um, I went through a lot when I was a kid and had a bumpy childhood, and I think we all go through hard things like any other person. Um, and I suffered a lot with depression and anxiety, especially through my teenage years from like 15. And I mean, I still struggle with it, but obviously I'm in a much better spot. I want to say I was probably 17 when life just really took a turn and it just got so hard to want to be here, to want to keep going with life. And that is a super hard thing to do, especially when you feel alone. So, the first thing I want to say is to anyone who's listening, you are never alone, even if it
Amen.
feels like it. Um, I started getting into some really bad habits of cutting my arms and thinking that that was the only answer, the only solution, thinking that I deserved that pain because I was just suffering so badly. And it took me a really long time to recover and get through that. But I think for me, a really big thing was obviously prayer and just continuing to pray. And another thing was just my music, which for those of you that don't know, I'm a singer songwriter. And I really channel my pain and my struggles through that. And so I've written a lot of music that I really, really hope one day can inspire others and help others going through the same thing. I truly think that it was a thing that I had to go through. I mean, it does suck, but we all go through hard things. So that's a little bit about me. Do you have any questions?
Yeah, so I guess what did these like the cutting and all that did that like do it like a release for you in a sense, kind of like yeah, what was it a good like replacement for that from a healthy thing, for you?
Right. Yeah. So for me, it was more of like it was a way to stop the mental pain that was going on, was to physically do something. And it would help for a second, but then it wasn't solving anything. And so I think I really started replacing that with better habits, like for me, writing music, but for other people, that can be simply distracting yourself. I've used methods of like ice to calm myself down if I'm having an anxiety attack. Breathing techniques have been amazing. I recommend them to anyone who is
Oh, absolutely.
struggling.
Breathing, meditation's like awesome strategies I need to get back in the habit of because it really
Yeah,
does make a
they are
difference for you.
great. I'm not a huge journaler, but as I said, I write music, so I guess it's kind of the same thing. I definitely think who you surround yourself with is really, really important. If
Amen.
you don't have a good support system, if you don't have people in your life that are going to help you through what you're struggling with, it's going to make it a lot harder. So I think having, those people to rely on or that will help you through it is really important. But another thing too is it's not their job to fix it. It's not their job to solve it.
Yep.
It's you. You're the only one that can solve it. You're the only one that can really, get better. It has to be you that wants it. And that's a really, really hard realization to come to. But that's why, you have people that love you and want to help and will understand your story. And I promise you that there are people out there that will understand your story. So many people might not. I posted something about me being a year clean from self-harm on my Instagram, and that was a super hard thing for me to post. I wasn't sure of, the feedback I was going to get or if people were going to not want to be my friend anymore. But instead, I got so much love in the comments and just people reaching out continuously like, "Hey, I'm so proud of you." People that didn't even know. So I think it just really goes to show like there are people that will help you. There's a good, there's good people out there to help you and recovery is possible. So there are other things that you can do for sure, but I know it's super, super hard.
Yeah, it can be really challenging. I've had loved ones who have gone through really hard addictions or what other people are trying to rename them as indulgences depending on the addiction. And it's so hard to watch someone so good have to go through something so terrible. Sorry, I'm getting emotional because I just love you and I just,
Yeah.
like addiction is one of the hardest things to, I personally have not gone through that kind of journey, but to watch someone else go through it and just go through that kind of up and down, like probably doing really good and going through a really rough patch of like, am I even getting better? Is like such a hard journey. So I would love to know what did you do in those? I'm sure you had like those up and down days where you were doing so
Yeah.
good in your recovery and then you went back into those habits and you did really good. And do you feel like you had that in your journey? And then if you did, how would you recover from that?
I will be 100% honest. I had so many horrible days where, I felt like I needed to cut again. I was like, I can't, like I'm gonna do it. For me, I had an app on my phone that would like time it or would say how long I've been clean. And every time that I would relapse, I would have to reset that. And I think that was a big thing for me because I was like, I have to start over again. But I think something that helped me was like not thinking of it as starting over, but you're
Mm,
you're still trying and that's what matters. And I had a lot of really hard times where, I did relapse and I did have to pick myself up again, but the important thing is that you do pick yourself up again.
yeah,
Um,
it's so important to remember to do that because like even just in simple habits of exercising for me, it's so easy to feel like, well, I just sucked today. I didn't do it. And it's so easy to like get yourself in that self-pity party and then just say,
right.
what's the point? But like you said, you have to keep going. It's kind of like riding a bicycle. If you don't keep pedaling, even if you like fall here and there, if you don't keep pedaling, you're never going to be able to have that balance. And so
Exactly.
I love that you shared that.
Yeah, there was another metaphor, if you don't mind me sharing,
Please
that
do.
I've thought of is, like the phrase that's the grass is always greener on the other side, something like that. I, for the longest time, I was like, yeah, okay, it's going to be so much better on the other side. But really, like, we're all just in different parts of our lives. We're all on different grass. Some of us might be in really bad grass right now, the grass that's yellow or like so poorly taken care of. Some of us might be in luscious green grass, and that's okay
Yeah.
because it's still grass. We're still humans. We're still going through life. And mind you, we're all doing this for the first time. Like this, we're all human. And so I think that would probably be my number one thing is to be kind to yourself. Please, if you are struggling, be kind to yourself because I promise that beating yourself up and hating yourself and saying that you deserve this pain is not, you don't. Nobody deserves to feel like that.
Yeah.
And it's been a really long journey for me to like really truly love myself and I'm finally in a good spot with that. Um where I can say, yeah, like I am so strong and I did that and I am better off now. But I definitely just be kind to yourself, give yourself grace because what you're going through is hard and you deserve to seriously cut yourself some slack because it's not an easy thing to recover from. And that's for any addiction, any struggle, any bad day, honestly. Like, don't beat yourself up because we all have those days. We all have our struggles, but it's a bad day, not a bad life, you know?
Yeah,
So
I love that. It's not
get
a
through it.
bad day. I mean, it's not a bad life. How did you say it again? I'm sorry.
It's not a it's a bad day, not a bad life.
It's a bad day, not a bad life. I love that. I need to put that on a mirror because sometimes even as a new mom, there are some days that it's just so hard that you feel like
Yeah.
I feel like I'm the worst mom ever, and it's definitely nothing compared to an addiction. But like I think for all of us, we all have different areas of bad, some maybe more extreme than others, but it's still hard. Those days are
All
still hard for
struggles.
that individual.
Yeah.
So I really love that because really it's true. The messages we tell ourselves, especially like it's so fascinating how when we talk to other people, we tell other people to love themselves, to be kind to themselves, but we're so hard on ourselves, like you
Yeah.
said. It's so easy to tell us some negative messages, and it's amazing the power of the brain. The messages you tell yourself is, in a sense, who you become or who, like how your days kind of go, your perspective goes.
Right.
And so it's so true. The messages you tell yourself, and I know the word self-love can be overused sometimes, but it's so true. You need to learn you love yourself in order to give to others. Not in
Right.
a not a narcissistic way, but in a truly like godlike love for yourself and seeing yourself, your potential of who you truly are as a daughter or as a son or as a child of God.
Yeah.
It's so true. So I love that, Hailey. I know you said about prayer. Do you feel like you turned to prayer and to God a lot? And how did God help you if you turned to God, that is?
I think I struggled with my faith for a really long time, especially going through that. And then kind of I moved out and I figured out who I wanted to be and where I wanted to be. And I actually moved in with the two roommates I live with now, and I absolutely love them. And I think it was like just what I needed for me to like truly, figure out who I was outside of, that life that I've been living.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I think really moving out, and then, I started going to church again and really focusing on me and my relationship with God, not so much the church, but what was my relationship with God, and
Yeah.
just praying and trying to read my Bible and things like that were just, trying to remind myself of the things that the Bible says, the things that God has said, and that he's there for you, he's listening. But I know that, not everyone is a believer, not everyone is
Yeah.
Christian, and that's okay.
Yeah.
We all have our different beliefs, but I truly do believe in the power of prayer. I do think it's absolutely incredible. Um, there are obviously so many other things that can help. I know another big thing for me with the like the phrase self-love is I put up like sticky notes and
Hmm.
I write like you are beautiful, or like a Bible verse that says like something like you do not walk alone. Um, Things like that, that if I'm looking in the mirror or I'm doing my makeup and I see that, I'm like, yeah, yeah, you're right. Like I needed that reminder.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm a sticky note girl too. I love sticky notes.
yeah,
It's
it's
kind of
great. You can't
bad.
go wrong. But it's a good reminder, especially if you're not getting that reminder from a friend or someone, but definitely reach out to your friends, to your family if you are needing
Yes,
that help, if you are needing that reminder that you are loved, or if you need that help, it's okay to ask for help because we all
absolutely.
struggle. So if
Yeah.
you are needing that, please do ask.
Yeah, amen to that. Like honestly, like it's so important whether that's God or a different higher power. I
Yeah.
think it's so important to turn to something that's beyond you, and prayer
100%.
to God or that higher power can definitely do that. And also, like you said, like friends, I would love to ask you. So, and as you go through your journey, as you went through your journey, did you have to give up some certain friendships that you found were not helping you? I would love to learn, like, when you started realizing that the friends you had or the people you surround yourself with were impacting you in your addiction
Yeah,
and like that journey of probably sacrificing really good friendships or acquaintances or stuff like
for
that.
sure.
Love to hear that.
I had a lot of friends in high school, especially towards the end of my senior year. And, I was still struggling with that. And there were some of my friends that didn't quite understand, and that's okay. Sometimes if you haven't gone through, you don't understand it. But they did not. they thought I was a monster because I was doing that, and they would
Mhm.
tell me that. And I would get people that would stare at my arms or, look at me differently because of the cuts, because of my, scars. And so I would start wearing jackets to school. And it was summer at that point that I was
Oh,
wearing jackets because people were looking differently.
that's
Um,
sad.
I think the phrase "don't judge a book by its cover" applies here too, because you never know what someone's going through. But regarding my friends, I definitely think that there were, and I won't name names, but there were a few friendships where, I realized, like, okay, if I'm really going to recover from this addiction, like, I have to be able to put myself first. And so, I think they were doing more damage than harm. I mean, no, more harm than good. And so, having those hard conversations of like, I'm sorry, but like I need to remove you from my life, which is so, so hard for me
Oh,
because
I can't
I'm
imagine.
not that person. Like I have never done that before until I had to in that moment. And it's something I don't really talk about a lot. Um, but I definitely had to do that. And then, I had other friends that just stopped talking to me because they saw my arms, or I told
Really?
them and
Wow.
they didn't understand. And, that's okay. People don't get it. And, it worked out for the better because now I have an amazing support system. I have an amazing best friend and amazing friends and, people that if I were to relapse again, I know they would be there for me. But I can actively say that I hardly think about it anymore. And I'm now over a year clean. And I just want to say to anyone who's listening, recovery is possible. And even if you're not struggling with an addiction, whatever you're going through, it's temporary. And I know that that is such a hard, hard thing to hear because time is just a human construct. And it's just, everyone says, oh, over time it'll get better. But it really did get better over time. And I truly think I don't like the phrase whatever doesn't kill you makes you stronger. I don't like that. I
Yeah.
think you're strong to begin with. You're strong at the end, but I definitely think that you become more resilient, you become more brave and courageous. Even if you choose not to share your story, but choosing to get better, choosing to get help, whatever you
Yeah.
do, as long as you don't stay in that hole, because I promise there is light and you can find it. It's just, yeah, but anyone, you got this, guys.
It's so, I just amen to all of that. Like, it's so easy to feel stuck in the dark or feel like even if you're putting all the effort, that light's not coming. But I also promise on my side, from the small experiences that I've had, that light does come, and it's sometimes so hard to believe that it will come in those dark, dark days. But like Hailey here, she's just an incredible example of perseverance and endurance and in a sense, like sacrificing for herself to become who she can, the best self person that
Yeah.
she can be for herself, her family, her friends. And I just admire you, Hailey. I'm so grateful that we got to talk and have this conversation. I really hope that whoever's listening to this, that they really do believe Hailey's words and check out her music. She's an incredible musician, incredible singer. And with that, I would love to ask, where can the audience find you, whether on Instagram or if your music's somewhere
Yeah.
we can listen to it?
It's under Hailey Michelle on all streaming platforms. I'm actually working on releasing a new album right now, but yeah, definitely go check out the stuff I have out right now. If you like Noah Kahan, Gracie Abrams, Taylor Swift, Adele, like any of those, you'll probably really like my stuff. So yeah, go give it a listen. And then yeah, thanks so much for having me on here. Like I really love getting the chance to share my story because I'm a big mental health advocate, but
Yeah,
also as someone
same.
that, writes music and writes songs, being able to kind of explain those songs because the songs are from what I've been through. So yeah, thank you for this opportunity.
Absolutely, Hailey. Thank you so much for sharing your story. You are incredible, and I can't wait to see how this impacts people. Now, wasn't that an amazing interview with Hailey Michelle? I just love her. She is just my favorite, and I am so grateful that we got to hear her story today. And for anyone who's going through very hard days, hard addiction recoveries, just any difficult challenge, just know that there's hope. Just know that everything will be okay in the end, and that whatever dark time you're in right now, it won't last forever. And I want to thank my audience for anyone who supports my podcast. I just appreciate you and love you. I couldn't do this without you. And please share this story with, please share Hailey's interview with everyone that could use it. It's just so important that her story influences as many people as possible. And please check out her channel. I should have it on the screen right here. If not, I'll have it in the link below. But please check out her music, check out her Instagram. She's just incredible and just. So it's Hailey Michelle Music or Hailey Michelle, and you can find her on Spotify, Apple Music. Just please just check her out. She's awesome and just so grateful that we had an opportunity to hear from her. And continuing in this podcast, I probably won't be able to do every week as I was hoping to do because just my family is very important and I need to be here for my family. And so I'm going to try to do once or twice a month, and I'm going to have guest speakers or just my own thoughts of how to help you become core in life because life is already hard as it is. And it's so nice to have tools and I want to provide you tools. I want to help you. And I got some awesome interviews coming up and I can't wait for you to hear them and how to inspire you to become more core in your life. And so, anyway, thank you for tuning in today and thank you for supporting Essentials and please share with anyone who will need it and take care.